Have you ever been playing a video game and you thought to yourself, I could either use this character who's possibly the strongest in the game and would really speed up the progression, or I could use this really attractive set of polygons because I never met a girl in real life, but it would probably make the game a lot tougher.
Yeah, trick question. You always pick the female.
Oh, well done, Clarence. You got the right answer. Today we have our list of the top 10 women in Final Fantasy. I decided to make this list to show my appreciation of some of the strongest and most badass women in all of gaming. Now, this is not a list to try and objectify the female characters, but to hopefully show how pivotal these women are to the success of one of the greatest franchises of all time. With that out of the way, let's get into the list. EDEA KRAMER, also known as Sorceress EDEA or Matron from Final Fantasy VIII, kicks off our list at number 10. She's the primary villain of the first disc of the game and later is revealed to be the caretaker of an orphanage and was only being possessed by the sorceress known as Ultimecia. EDEA has been a sorceress since the age of 5, and some of her most magical feats include skewering edgy boy Squall with shards of ice, and even expelling the powers of Ultimecia without dying. But her most amazing magical power to date is capturing our hearts.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I'll leave. Fran from Final Fantasy XII. Okay, now hear me out. I'm actually more in love with Fran's voice than I am with Fran as the character. Call me voicist, but just listen.
We should leave this place.
Let me guess. Sandstorm?
Something far worse.
I mean, am I right? I've come across so many people who have put Fran in their number 1, and honestly, the only reason I put her in this list was for fear of the backlash I would receive if I didn't include her. So here you go, number 9 spot. Here's to hoping that one day we get an audiobook remaster of Final Fantasy XII, completely voiced by Fran. Now, that's a remaster that gets my support. Celeste Cher from Final Fantasy VI has a tragic backstory, being trained as a child and infused with magic to become a general for Kefka's army. She is also the main focus of one of the most iconic scenes of the franchise with the Opera House, and even becomes the main character for a portion of the game in the World of Ruin. Unfortunately, she does kill Cid. I mean, you can keep him alive, but to be honest, it's not really worth it. You could just be brushing up on your opera. So Rikku from Final Fantasy X is an Al-Bhed girl and also the cousin to one of the main characters, Yuna. Wait. That's better. Now Rikku is a fairly new addition to the list. Reasons being is that when I played this game a long time ago, I actually never used Rikku in my party as I was never really a fan of thief type characters. Playing through this game recently, I decided to try a new lineup, and to literally no one else's surprise but mine, Rikku is freaking dope. Did you know her mix ability is actually OP? Oh, I'm late to the party? Honestly, if you can one-shot majority of the bosses in a game single-handedly, I'll give you a place on whatever list you please. Claire Farron, also known as Lightning, would have easily been in my top 3 of this list, except I had the incredible displeasure of playing Final Fantasy Lightning Returns on stream. Hell no. Regardless, Lightning is kind of a badass. She's actually just a female version of Cloud or Squall, but that's in no way a bad thing. She loves to shoot first and ask questions later. She's the type of girl that would pay for dinner on a first date. That would fix your car if it broke down on the highway. The kind of girl that would have a man cave and insult the way you cooked dinner and how the house is a mess and that you never shut up about Ninja Turtle comic books. Hey man, we've spoken about this. It was just a dream. Lightning, she can't hurt you anymore. Quick WADA history lesson here. YUFFie KIRASAGI from Final Fantasy VII was by far my favorite character in the game when I was a kiddo, and also my unofficial girlfriend. That's right, I was dating an older woman. YUFFie has always been one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters due to her unique character quirks. Her sick battle animations and also the feeling of acquiring her as a secret character has always been captivating to me. Fast forward to the YUFFie remake DLC, and my love for this character has only grown stronger. Now that I'm much older and also a father, I was able to identify with the character of YUFFie in a completely different way. Being able to see her backstory and see how she became the way she is, it really broke my heart and made me feel that pain that a parent feels when their kid is going something similar to these circumstances. Oh, I'm not crying, it's just super dusty in here. ARITH Gainsborough is most likely one of the first characters you think of when you think top female characters in the Final Fantasy franchise. Whether you know her as Aeris or Aerith, there's no denying her impact on the games, and her importance only continues to grow with the addition of the remake. Personally, Aerith continues to grow on me the more the Final Fantasy VII story is told, and then getting to play as her as a long-distance mage class was extremely satisfying. She's just such a good character and so nice as well. I sure hope nothing bad ever happens to her. ARITH 2.0, the new and improved Aerith with new big summon energy. YUNA is the main protagonist of Final Fantasy X, along with Tidus, and their powers combined, you get? YUNA has one of the coolest iterations of summons in an RPG battle system to date. Allowing her to summon multiple different summons and control them like you would a character is just RPG battle systems done right. While most of the journey for YUNA is a fun and memorable one, it was always a journey that would end in sadness one way or another. We all love YUNA for taking the role of summoner head on and delivering us one of the finest stories in all of the Final Fantasy franchise. Now this lass has plenty of the B word. Yep, you guessed it. She's got a ton of belts. Boo, you already made that joke. Still funny. Like honestly, who needs that many belts? And how heavy is that dress? It's 100% impractical, but do you, Lulu? Unfortunately, Lulu from Final Fantasy X might be the least useful female character on the list, being that even YUNA outscales her in black magic by the end of the game. But luckily you can use anyone in your party unless you're planning to conquer the end game content, which you will need to be a bit smarter about your team. Also, whoever thought to hide her celestial weapon behind those 200 damn lightning strikes? Touche, Square. I guess I won't have her in my final team. Honorable mention. TERRA BRANFORD from Final Fantasy VI was extremely tough not to put in the list. At least she's first in the list of honorable mentions. Scarlet from Final Fantasy VII. I do have a feeling they are going to make her really badass in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, so this is just future-proofing the video. Yunalesca from Final Fantasy X. This is just for 12-year-old me. Garnet from Final Fantasy IX. She goes through huge character development. I mean, has extremely long hair and then ends up with slightly less long hair. RYDIA doesn't make the list because, I mean, Cecil burnt down her village when she was 7, but Jesus, that was like 5 minutes ago.
Grow up.
Shiva, it would be really weird if I included her in every single video we make, so we're not going to talk about Shiva at all in this video. Damn it. Cindy from Final Fantasy 15. Whoa, what an interesting and unique pick. I know, I might be stepping out on a limb here, but I'm gonna put Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII as number 1 on my list. Now, I originally wasn't a huge fan of Tifa in the original game, but recently playing again in our marathon, I didn't realize she's actually one of the stronger characters to use and it even spawned a meme as well as merchandise for our channel. Then with her depiction in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was really able to appreciate the character and finally understand what all the fuss had been about all these years. Also, controlling Tifa in the remake has got to be some of the most satisfying combat I've ever had in my entire life. Badass boss beater by day, bartending pull-up champion by night, Tifa has cemented herself as one of the top women in all of Final Fantasy. Apparently there's a bunch of new Tifa figurines as well. Anyways guys, that's our list. If you want to see our top 10 Final Fantasy songs of all time, you just click this little box over here. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Peace.